Hey guys. Um, guys have all heard my song and dance before. So what I thought I'd do today is just kind of give you some updates on what we have going on, maybe some programs and some initiatives you may not know about or you may have heard of and may not know much about. So obviously, for those of you who know, Madison County Transit, we've got four main services. Our green buses, our fixed route buses, our runabout service for the elderly and disabled. That's a door-to-door service to take folks to medical appointments and grocery store and classes and so on. A lot of folks don't know that we have the Ride Finders Carpool Van Pool program that we operate, and we have van pools. Not every situation calls for a bus route, and so we have van pools at employers throughout St. Louis, and of course the MCT trails. All right, so one of our newest initiatives, and I've got some brochures on your tables, is microtransit. Microtransit is essentially a fancy way of saying Uber or Lyft, only instead of hailing an Uber or Lyft, it is a little green bus that picks you up at your house or at your employer or wherever and takes you anywhere in the zone for $1. It works just like Uber or Lyft. You can hail it through an app on your phone, or you can call our office and connect with one of our dispatchers and book a ride. It's an on-demand service, so we try to respond and have a vehicle at your place within 20 minutes. And so it's how it's working so far. Collinsville, we launched our first zone in August of 2024. It's killing it. We're carrying 3 times as many people in some cases per hour that we were with our fixed route shuttle. And so we launched another zone in Bethalto and Cottage Hills area. It's not doing as well, but it's growing. Every single month it's growing. We're taking more and more folks. The key is a Walmart. There has to be a Walmart in the microtransit zone for it to be successful. And we were actually advised that by some of the other folks that do microtransits around the country. This isn't an idea that we came up with. We borrowed it. And so, of course, Collinsville has 2 Walmarts. So they're doing really well. So in the Bethalto Cottage Hills zone, we connect to the Wood River Walmart. We launched an evening-only zone in Edwardsville in August, this past August. And the reason why we did evening only is because we've got bus service during the day. And unfortunately, what happens is if ridership is too good on microtransit, you really need a fixed route because the loads can't accommodate the demand. And so right now, we are still pretty slow on the Edwardsville zone in the evenings. We're only carrying about 25 people between 6:30 and midnight. That's not nothing. At first we were thinking, oh, we're going to be taking college kids back and forth to the bars and so on, which, by the way, I'm okay with. I would much rather them be in a safe vehicle than on the roads. And by the way, these are our drivers are drug tested, background checked. Trained drivers driving these vehicles. All of our vehicles have video surveillance, ADA accessibility, and a bike rack. So it's superior to Uber and Lyft in that regard too. You can feel safe knowing that your loved one that is using micro is on candid camera while they are on this vehicle and not in the back of somebody's beat up Ford Taurus or whatever Uber is offering that night. But what we have found with the Edwardsville microzone is that it's a lot of students going to class, coming home from class, going to grocery stores, going to Walmart, going to jobs. And so we are not seeing that influx of trips to and from the bars. Now, we are starting to advertise more in the local establishments just because why not? It's a nice option. And if I'm honest, I've used it a couple of times myself. What's that? Yeah, it was big, absolutely, just to test it out. Serving the most vulnerable. So last year we did what is probably my favorite thing I've done at MCT. I've been there 23 years. We launched a partnership with Chestnut Health Systems, and they provide two full-time social workers that ride our routes, spend time at our bus stations, even go on the trails when requested, and help provide services. What is it that you need? And the reason that we're doing this is we had drivers come to me, our drivers, and said, we want to help these folks, but we don't know how. And we don't know what to do. We don't, we're driving the bus. I said, look, I want you driving the bus. Okay. Let me find help. So we contracted with Chestnut. In the first year in 2025, there were more than 750 engagements. Now, those aren't 750 individuals. Those are engagements, meaning there are the same folks over and over again that they're engaging. What they are doing is they are connecting them to services. What is it that you need? You need a meal. You need a place to stay tonight. You need a warm shower. You need health care. What is it that you need? And they provide a warm handoff to those services. What has been so cool about this program is that in our first year, and I know this doesn't sound like much, but in our first year, we have taken two people from homelessness, abject poverty, homelessness, who were riddled with drug addiction, and gotten them into substance abuse centers. Those individuals are now clean, now working part-time jobs, and are living on their own. I almost get a little emotional thinking about it because we are changing these individuals' lives. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to provide a service. And so I'm incredibly proud of what Chestnut is doing. Again, they're not our employees. We contract with these trained social workers, and it's been fantastic. In November, we made the decision to help bring people to overnight warming locations when it's 20 degrees or below. We will pick up individuals, homeless individuals that need to get to the overnight warming locations that are now in Alton, Edwardsville, and Granite City. Not all of those locations are on bus routes. And so what's happening is people are having to walk long distances to get from daytime shelters to those locations. And so we said, why don't we step in and just get this done? And so we are utilizing on-duty extra board drivers on those evenings. So these are extra board drivers that we're already paying them. They're already sitting in our base of operations to be utilized if somebody calls off. So we're utilizing those individuals to go pick these folks up and take them to the warming locations. Since November, we've taken about 207 people to warming locations, primarily the one in Alton. The one in Alton is that has the most folks. So again, just another way to try to come alongside the community and provide a service. Some new facilities, some information about some new facilities. Through a Rebuild Illinois grant, we're going to build a new bus station down in the warehouse district off of Gateway Commerce Center Drive West. We've purchased some acreage there through Rebuild Illinois grant. This is going to be a unique facility, a unique bus station. In addition to a bus station, it's going to be a law enforcement substation. So we're partnering with three different departments. Well, one of them is Madison County Sheriff's Department, but City of Edwardsville and Pontoon Beach Police will have offices there if they want them. When I asked the various law enforcement agencies, what is your number one ask in terms of what you want in this facility? They said bathrooms. We would like a place to go to the bathroom. Right now, if we patrol that area, we have to go to the Flying J, which is not ideal. And so, of course, so we're putting in separated restrooms, for law enforcement at this location. What's cool about this site is that we are also hoping that this will be our first transit-oriented development. Last year, we worked with the Illinois General Assembly and got the law changed in the state of Illinois, which gave us permissive authority to initiate our own transit and trail-oriented developments. And so we are hoping to build a childcare facility at this bus station. And if you think about it, if you don't have a car and you have kids and you're trying to get your kids to childcare or to grandma and grandpa's or whatever, and get to work, it's very difficult, if not impossible. And so we are trying to take away barriers to get people working. And when we talk to the employers in Gateway Commerce Center, we found that childcare is one of their number one priorities. And so we're not going to operate a childcare facility. That's not what we do. But we can be a part of building the building and then partnering with either a private operator or an institutional operator like the university or SWIC or Lewis and Clark to actually operate the facility. So we're really excited about that opportunity and think it could be hopefully it could be a game changer for that area. Some of the other facilities that we're looking at, we're renovating some of our old buildings on site as a proper operations and training center. We're building a new Collinsville park and ride lot. A lot of people don't know this. MCT owns the parking lots around Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville. Those are our lots that we own and maintain. And we want to get out of that corridor and we want to build a park and ride lot on Horseshoe Lake Road. And so we are in the process of finding a location and doing that. And then we are expanding through a federal grant our driver relief facility at Alton. One of the things that I did when I came into this role in 2020 was ask our operations team, what can we do to be more efficient? Which is a question that, when you ask, you kind of wonder, how is this going to be? And of course, well, we're doing things efficiently. There's nothing we could do any better. One of the things we found is that if we allowed our drivers to begin to take their lunch breaks at our bus stations, we can save 40 hours a week per facility. And so by putting a driver relief facility at our Alton station, we're going to save one full-time driver, 40 hours a week. And so we sought and received a federal grant to construct that facility there. My friend Chad Morris at AAIC is working on that design for us. And so we're hoping to go out to bid, Chad, this year, right? Okay. Yeah, that's not a good. One of the things that became clear to me, especially after COVID, is we can't just keep doing what we're doing and expect a different outcome. We have to do things differently. People are working differently, right? Not everybody goes to a 9-to-5 job in an office anymore. People are traveling around the region differently. So we have to think about how we meet those needs differently if we are going to be successful and if we're really going to meet the needs of the people we serve. And so that's why we're looking at microtransit. That's why we are looking at, last year we hired a consultant to tell us, what are the travel patterns? How are people getting around Madison County? Where are they working? Where are they spending time? And so it's really been eye-opening for us. And so we're using that data to try to make some changes over the course of the next few years, which I'm excited about. All right. Let's talk about the trail system a little bit. On your tables are some trails maps, as well as these fantastic microfiber cloths with a trail map on them. Grab some of those, grab one for a friend and spouse. I've got plenty of them. All right, so a few of our projects. Some of you know about our Yellowhammer Trail, which connects the Goshen Trail to the SIUE campus. I love this trail. This was something that we've thought about for 20 years and finally got done. It's a beautiful trail. I was just on it yesterday. It's got that fantastic 200-foot bridge over Delaplane Branch. But it is a really nice, meaningful connection to the SIUE campus on a former interurban streetcar line, the Yellowhammer line. We recently built just a small little plaza to honor my predecessor, Jerry Kane, who was really the founder and the visionary behind the MCT trail system. Just a little pavilion with some benches and an interpretive plaque. If you're in that area, encourage you to stop by. It's near Market Basket there and the LeClaire Water Tower. We're constructing a bridge over Illinois 111 for our schoolhouse trail. So this is an area that is incredibly dangerous, 111 and Horseshoe Lake Road. There has been, unfortunately, multiple fatalities in this area of cyclists and pedestrians. It's 5 lanes of traffic. Even with a stoplight, people don't stop. And so we are working, and our board has identified and prioritized a series of at-grade crossings throughout our system that we are going to be correcting with bridges, tunnels, flashing beacons, and so on. Because if we really truly want a seamless regional system for users of all ages and abilities, then it's got to be safe. Ridge Prairie Trail, this is connecting the Collinwood neighborhood in Collinsville with the Goshen Trail. We're reassembling an old portion of the Pennsylvania Railroad, an old portion that's been defunct since the 1950s. This has been a fun project. We've found some interesting items along Canteen Creek here, but it's going to be a really beautiful trail through this Canteen Creek Valley, and we're hoping to open it this summer. So one of the things that we've realized is that some of our trails are aging. They are 20, 25, 30 years old. And so last fall, we went through our entire 138-mile system and graded, meaning gave a letter grade to every segment of our trail in 0.2 of a mile sections. And we also looked at structures, bridges, tunnels, and so on. And what we found is that we have a lot of D's and F's. And so it's time to go through and do some reconstruction in areas. And so we are marching up and down the river, reconstructing. The worst was the Confluence Trail on the levees. And so we are reconstructing the Confluence Trail in 2.5-mile segments with the help of grant money, obviously. We are also, and I thought we had a slide in here on the nature trail. There it is. We're also reconstructing the nature trail, running from really SIUE campus south to Mockingbird Lane in Granite City. This is a total reconstruct, brand new trail. There are 4 bridges that we are rehabbing. 2 are full replacements and 2 are rehabs. We're replacing some of this. You'll remember the wood decks on our bridges. We'll never do another wood deck bridge. It's a maintenance nightmare. I'm over it. And so we have found that concrete is actually just as affordable, or what's called FRP. It's a fiber reinforced polymer that we are experimenting with on our bridge decks. And so it's going to be less slippery and less maintenance intensive for us. So this is underway. We started last summer and will hopefully be complete this summer, but it's going to be really nice when it's done. Those of you who do use the trails know that this section of trail has been bad for a while. Formosa East Trail, we are working to connect the Goshen Trail to the city of Troy. And so we have acquired a series of corridors between US 40 and the Goshen Trail. And we'll be bridging US 40 to make that connection and connect the Silver Creek Trail and the entire city of Troy to the trail system. So we haven't completed design yet, so it's still a few years away, but this is going to be a nice connection. Goshen Trail to Bethalto. Everybody wants a trail, we've learned. And so we have completed land acquisition on this portion of the trail. It runs up through Phillips 66 Park, or some people call it Kendall Hill Park, They're off 143 and Wanda Road, Moreland Road there. And then we acquired the piece of property right at the corner of Wanda and 143, which will likely be a small park and ride lot and maybe a small trail-oriented development, which we're excited about. And we'll be tunneling under 143 and making our way up Moreland Road to Bethalto. It's a multi-phase project. I missed one slide on B-Works. Yeah. Mark. Yes. No. No. We received a lot of pushback when we paved that section of the Nickel Plate Trail out to Blackburn Road. So, what's that? Well, I think most people did, but the running community did not. The running community prefers the limestone. I mean, really, they are bike trails. Yeah. Last year, we initiated a partnership with St. Louis B-Works. This is a nonprofit organization out of St. Louis that rehabs bikes and gives them to needy families. Fantastic organization. Great to work with. We collected last May over 200 bikes. We're going to do that again this May. You can drop them off at any of our facilities. We also partnered with every library in Madison County. You could drop them off at libraries and we would go pick them up and take them to B-Works. We'll do that again this year. But what we also did was we paid for several Earn a Bike programs. So they bring in 12, they work with local school districts, bring in 12 kids and teach these kids how to work on a bike, how to replace, the tires, how to work on the brakes and the chains, and basically take a bike apart and put it back together by the time it's all over. And so last year we helped facilitate 84 kids throughout Madison County go through this program. And at the end of the program, they get a free bike, helmet, lock, and light. And so this has been really cool. And what we're learning also is that some of these kids don't even know how to ride a bike. And so they're learning that too. So very cool program and hoping to continue this partnership with B-Works. I mentioned a little bit about bus service earlier in terms of rethinking how we serve St. Louis. We're looking at launching a new Troy-Maryville microzone this summer. We are looking at ways to improve service to some of our regional transportation hubs, like the high-speed rail station in Alton and Lambert Airport. How can we do a better job of getting folks to those hubs when they need access to transportation? We are transportation providers, so how can we help? So we're thinking through all of those things. Safety and security. You might be surprised to know this, and I probably shouldn't be broadcasting this, but our stations don't have video surveillance. And so we are in the process of installing a comprehensive video surveillance system in all of our stations, park and ride lots, that is integrated with our system at our base of operations. I was actually kind of surprised by that we do not have that system in place. As part of that project, we're also going to implement a comprehensive access control system. So very excited about that. We've just gone out to bid and are hoping to get that taken care of this year. This year, we're also you're going to hear about some partnerships with local law enforcement agencies. So more to come on that. And this item that you see here, we've purchased 2 of these mobile surveillance trailers that are going to be shifting around the bike trails. And so you'll start to see these trailers around the trails. They have video surveillance on them. They also have a screen which we can share information. But the idea is that, we can't have our eyes and ears on all the trails at all the time. And we believe the trails are safe. but it doesn't hurt to help, put some of these items out on the trails to help identify areas of issues where we do occasionally have vandalism and graffiti on the trails. And so we're trying to curb some of that. Is it 1 o'clock? Almost. Okay. All right. I'm going to wrap it up. Any questions?
So I thought the development down at the Gateway Commerce Center was interesting. I've talked with you a little bit about it. I didn't get. So do those companies, do any of those companies, there's so many employees. They care, they don't.
They don't. There's 27 employers in Gateway Commerce Center alone, and there's 27 different shift start and end times, and they change throughout the year. They change seasonally.
So
right.
Workers that have kids have to take their kids to outside sites.
Correct. Yep.
That's their comment, the response to comments, things on the trail when trees are down, or other things that you find on the trail. Pegs from behind Belmont. I actually upset SJ and say somebody needs to take a look at this, or I'll include MCT trails in the text or something, because if they respond very quickly, they can down or there's something obstructing their text.
Really cool.
Really strong.
Trails at mct.org if there is a tree down is your best bet. Yes. That's a heavier lift. There isn't a great way to do it. So we don't have any plans to do that. I'm not saying no, not never, but it would be awesome. Yeah, that would be very expensive. Yeah. Yeah. Mark. Well, yesterday the county board approved it, and so it's likely going to happen. Yep. It would allow service to the Meyer YMCA, to the Anderson Hospital Complex on Goshen Road, to Park North. So,
Thank you.
anything else? Thank you, guys.
On behalf of Home Nursery, the hospital family.